I'm going to show you my top 10 most complimented fragrances in my entire collection. And this list is solely based on people's reactions to me wearing it, okay? This has nothing to do with my personal preference, just people's reactions when I've worn these, okay? My number 10 is Layton by Parfums de Marly, and I have nothing to show you because I finished the sample. And I'm really sad about it, but that thing was pulling through. Like, I need a full size of that fragrance. And I don't know if anyone out there doesn't like their Layton, or if you're feeling really generous, just know that I'm here for you. Regardless of what you need, I'm here for you. And that thing, 2 to 3 sprays off the OG bottle, I'm assuming is gonna be a fucking beast. Because the sample, I mean, I would have to spray more because, of course, it doesn't really spray that much. But every time I wore that, I got a compliment on it. So people, specifically girls, tend to really like it. And it is marketed to men and women. And my number 9 spot, Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. I've been talking about this fragrance a lot, and it's because, you know, I'll wear it more at nighttime. It gets a bit cooler, but it's still hot in Southern California. But this is one of those fragrances that people just have to compliment it. Because you know when you're wearing a scent and like heads turn, but they don't say anything to you, this is a fragrance that people turn their heads and they have to say something because they're like, damn, that smells good. Every single time I wear this, it's noticed and people always have something to say about it. So it's great. Vanilla Tobacco Cumin Fragrance. Okay, my number 8 is Pie by Givenchy. And I got this bottle. This was one of my early fragrances. I got it for like $40. And it's about 3.3 ounces. A steal, an absolute steal. I wasn't crazy about it though, the first time I had it, because it had this really powdery type of vibe to it, which I wasn't crazy about. But now I love it. Now I really enjoy it, especially when it's cooler outside. And there's just something about this scent that drives women wild. Like, they love it. It's addicting. It's almost like cult-like, the amount of love this gets from women in particular that aren't like into fragrances. Like, for the average nose, when they smell this and you're cuddling or you're just hugging somebody, it brings comfort, but it has a sexiness that I don't even pick up on, but girls really, really like. So Pie by Givenchy, if you can find it for like less than $60, like, go for it. Okay, my 7th spot is Elysium by Raja Parfums, and this is my heavy hitter. This is probably my favorite from the House of Raja that I've tried out of the 6. And you know that I used to run Oceania into the ground. I still love it. It's a very fresh fragrance, but this one here is fresh and sexy at the same time. I will say it's marketed to men. So on some girls, like, if you're big on the florals, if you like stuff like Gucci Bloom and that kind of stuff, you're not really gonna probably be into this because it does lean very cologne-y. Or not, on me, it's not very cologne-y. Like, people don't say like I smell like a man or anything like that. Guys and girls just tell me I smell amazing, but I remember I had a follower that said that this smelled like kind of men's axe on her, so she didn't really like it. But on me, I would wear this out when I would go to lunches, go to the beach, and it's just perfectly fitting. And every single time I go out, I get complimented on this fragrance. So Elysium by Raja Parfums, sexy, fresh, and the dry down is where it's at with that fragrance. So give it a couple hours. Okay, my 6th spot is Oudwood by Tom Ford. People love Tom Ford. They really do, and specifically Americans, okay? I think that he's probably like, out of all the designers, if you ask an American, they're probably gonna be loving on Tom Ford more than Chanel and probably more than Dior, because this is just so seductive. And it's like, I can't even explain the reason why. Yes, I think if I had to guess, it's because it's a different type of scent. And that's the kind of compliment I would get from this fragrance. People would say like, oh, that smells different. I've never smelled something like that before. And it's just intriguing. And the more it's around you, the more you just become enveloped in the seduction of oud wood. And the great thing is that, like, the typical person on the street is not going to be a fan of the note of oud because it's very skanky, it's animalic, and it kind of just makes, like, it's off-putting, you know what I mean? But the oud in here is so perfectly blended that you know what, it probably might not even be oud because it's so tame. It's so tame, but I like it. I love that about this fragrance. Doesn't perform that well for an oud scent, so that's the only downside. Is performance is less than 6 hours. But guys, girls, love this. Absolutely love this on me, and I was really, really tempted to wear it as my scent of the day today. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Okay, my number 5 spot is Prada L'Homme. This fragrance right here is, it's so good. I haven't worn it in a while, but whenever I did, it's so good. It has a chokehold on women specifically. Now, this is marketed to men, and the first 3 were marketed to men. This is a unisex fragrance, but this one is totally unisex because it has a very heavy iris note in the opening or throughout the whole entire wear time of this fragrance. So it's floral, and for the most part, when guys hear that a fragrance is floral, they kind of stay away from it. But like if you're a boss bitch, not girl boss, I'm not talking girl boss, I'm talking boss bitch, wear this fragrance, okay? It's sexy, it's professional sexy. Like this is something you can wear to the office, but it's also something that like you can wear at a bar. Like this is how I describe it. You're at work and you're wearing this fragrance, right? And your coworkers or your friends are like, hey, let's meet at happy hour after our shift. And you literally don't have time to run home. Like you go straight to happy hour, to the bar, and you're still wearing this. It makes the effortless transition. So this is a really nice, versatile fragrance. Probably not the best for the high heat because it can be a bit heavy, but it shows out. It really shows out. I get about 6 hours or more with this fragrance, but when I spray about 7, 8 sprays, I mean, this thing is going for at least 8. So lovely scent. Okay, my number 4 spot. Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Intense. This is still my favorite summertime designer fragrance. Oh, wow. And this is the women's version, and I love it way more than the men's. And I always recommend men to actually buy this one because it's sexier. It's just way sexier, very, very unisex. It's lemon, apple, musk. And you can tell by the bottle that this has a big dent in it because I mean, I use lots of different fragrances, but this still is just, I'm going through this thing. But yeah, and it lasts a long time for a freshie. I get at least 6, but I can get over 8 because I'll overspray the hell out of this fragrance when I'm going to a place like the beach because it's not gonna choke anybody out, and it smells good like when you pop out of the ocean and you still smell this on your skin and that beach water, you know what I mean? But yes, Light Blue Intense. I've had a compliment that said that this, I don't know what you're wearing, but it smells like you. Like that, the whole vibe of this fragrance, they were like, it's perfect with you. And I was like, huh, I love that. So Light Blue Intense by Dolce Gabbana, really, really sexy summertime fragrance. Okay, my number 3 spot is by the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. And this one has a pretty good dent in it. And it just opens up smelling like burning wood and dries down smelling like s'mores. But I would go through this thing. I would spray it before I went to sleep. When I first got it last December or last January is when I first got this fragrance, and I was obsessed with it. When I smelled it at Sephora, I wanted to pull the trigger, but they didn't have it. So I bought it off Nordstrom's website. And this thing just brings back memories for me. I'm a huge fan of like bonfires and stuff like that. So when I smell this fragrance, it just brings me comfort and it triggers memories of like, oh yeah, that's like just the happy, simple times. Like and I think that it's very sentimental to me in that regard. But other than that, people really like this. It's just like a sweet scent. They could smell it on your sweater, even after a couple days when you sprayed it. So great reactions from both men and women on this fragrance. Okay, my number 2 spot was my first love, La Nuit Alone by Yves Saint Laurent. This thing, my first signature scent, but girls love this a lot. Like a lot, which is why I'll always get comments every single time I have this fragrance in a lineup or in a video, because guys are like, oh, it's so basic, like it's boring, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, if you're not trying to attract guys, who gives a fuck about what a guy says about a fragrance? And it goes the other way too with girls. You know what I mean? Like if you're hearing a girl shit on Black Opium, but you really like it and you want to buy it, don't listen to her. You know what I mean? Unless you're trying to attract her or whatever, if that's your end goal. But this fragrance has women in a chokehold. It just does, and it's the cardamom in it. I think the cardamom is what makes it really sexy. There's a sweetness to it, and this is a fragrance you spray on your sheets, all right? But, yeah, when I would wear this and I would hug a girl, her face would be in my neck for a while. So if you're into that kind of affection, the Nuit Alone by Yves Saint Laurent. Okay, my number one spot, you could probably guess, because I've been fucking circle jerking it for like weeks or like months since I've had the little sample, but it's Ombre Nuit by Dior. I finally got a bigger bottle because a follower sent it to me. So love her, appreciate her. But this thing, God. And the reason I love it so much isn't because of the compliments, but it's because I myself enjoy it. But now everyone sees what I see with this fragrance when I wear it, okay? This isn't something that only frag heads or fragrance fanatics enjoy. This is something that the average person on the street will love. And the more, like, the compliments I've gotten off this are always questioning, like, oh my God, you smell really nice. Like, what are you wearing? Can you please tell me what you're wearing? And that's always like after I hug somebody, they're like, ooh. And they just keep getting closer and closer and closer to my neck. It's very similar to this, except for this performs a bit better, at least to me, and it projects more than La Nuit Alone. But Dior went off on this fragrance. Yeah, I think that this is perfectly down the line unisex. Like, this goes masculine, but I mean, I'll wear masculine fragrances, but this is just perfectly feminine, it's perfectly balanced between masculine and feminine. It really doesn't matter who wears this. It's just super, super sexy. So yeah, just great reactions with this. Every single time I sprayed it on my sweater, and I fell in love again. Well, I sprayed it a couple days ago, and then I was wearing that sweater today, and I'm like, damn, who was wearing this? But yeah, those are my top 10 most complimented fragrances, and they're not my favorite. I mean, I have some of my favorites in here, but that was solely ranked on reactions that I got of like eyes rolling back, you know, like, that kind of stuff, and just like face in my neck, nose to my neck. So there you go. And I'll be doing more videos after this. So if you want to subscribe or comment, do whatever you want to do. I greatly appreciate it. All right. I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.